Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out People of Reddit. Story 1. Horrible roommate now almost 30k in debt. I posted this on Pro Revenge because of the hefty amount but was told to come here. First I wanna say that this is not my story, it's my best friend's and she gave me permission to share. She's excited to read the Story 2. My ex owes me $, but never took my phone number off the internet service account. So in the end of 2019 I, 31M, moved to New Orleans with my girlfriend, 31F, at the time, we were both 27 years old. We broke up about 3 weeks after moving in together, shocker since we had only dated for 2.5 months prior to the move. Well, it was a 2-bedroom house and New Orleans was a new city for both of us, so we decided we would be roommates since we both loved the house we moved into and neither really had many friends in the area. Well, COVID happened and in April 2020 I moved out. We had ongoing issues, and the final straw was me having to cover her half of the rent in March while she waited for unemployment. My landlord released me from the lease and took my deposit, which is what I offered and wanted. Well, fast forward a few months after I moved out. I got a text from the internet company saying a service was scheduled for whatever date in the future and to text a response to either cancel, reschedule, or confirm. I waited until the morning of the appointment and cancelled it. This has continued to go on for years. I will either cancel it entirely, or sometimes it doesn't give me the option to cancel and then I just reschedule it out a week, over and over and over again. Well, this morning I got a text from Cox Internet saying contact information has been changed on my account and my phone number was removed. Followed by an email from her calling me a child. Ugh, I know it was petty and immature, but it was great entertainment for 4 years, I suppose. I emailed her back asking if I could get the $1,100 she owes me. I'll update y'all if she says anything. Story 3. Messed up bully's life. In Asia there's a concept of ragging in colleges. It's a form of hazing done by seniors on newcomers. People defend it by saying it's supposed to break the ice, but it's nothing but a form of humiliation and mental torture, if not physical. Laws are trying to clamp it down, but the practice is still so widespread it's pretty much expected once you enter college life. It happened to me in college, and of all things the most humiliating part was them forcing me to dance in a lewd way. Was over in seconds, but the memory was just burning in my head for days and I couldn't get rid of it. I already knew from my college's history that reporting to them directly doesn't do jack, though ragging is strictly banned. Well, the government had made portals and helpline to report these things. That resource seemed untapped to me, so I officially filed a complaint and did my best to move on with my life. 10 years later, yep, I came to know the police want to talk to me to close the case. I had forgotten about the whole thing, but now that something was happening I wasn't willing to just drop it. So they made it to an official charge against the 4 perps. Turns out the boys were all working abroad, so am I, and got scared out of their minds on realizing there's an official charge against them. Working abroad requires visas and all renewal forms have questions like have you ever been charged? Doesn't matter if you were found innocent or guilty, you have to tick it yes. For countries with high immigration rates, that's a potential death sentence on your visas. Renewals can get rejected even if you have a solid explanation. One of the boys found and contacted me via social media begging me to take my complaint back. Offered me money. Too bad for him, I'm well-to-do. I informed this to the police in charge and he's in a deeper hole. As for me, seeing some semblance of justice was really cathartic and helped me actually heal instead of forgetting about it. Story 4. No honor among thieves when mom gets them confused. In the mid-70s, my sister met a guy at the local skating rink. They went out a few times, but he turned out to be a good-looking lowlife. After they stopped going out, our house was burgled. Since mom had engraved her SSN on many items, those were left in the hallway. A week later that lowlife called. Mom answered. Mom figured it was him. He asked how everything is doing. Oh, we got a bunch of stuff stolen. Including $10,000 cash out of her dresser drawers. Are you sure? He asked. Yes. I have checked everywhere. He kept calling back. Mom kept confirming the cash was gone. Soon he stopped calling. Through the grapevine we found out that in his group of 3 friends, one had shot and killed the other 2 and the third had gone to prison for life. Mom was not a person to screw with. Years later a guy would walk down the main street next to our building with the biggest boombox blasting away. Mom was out sweeping the sidewalk. In her flowered maxi skirt she started dancing to the beat. Think of Elaine on Seinfeld dancing. The guy with the boombox looked over at Mom's disjointed dancing and turned the volume down. He never blasted our block again. Even though he still had the boombox. Not long after that happened. It was a hot late summer night. One of the neighbors had just parked across the street. As he opened his door to get out, 2 dudes jumped out of the car in the street behind him and tried to rob or carjack him. They had a pistol, Mom said. Mom yelled out the open window from her dark apartment. I have a scoped rifle pointed right at your heads. She actually had it next to her bed. They dropped that guy, jumped out their car and sped away. Mom again. This time in the mid-60s, we lived in the mountain valley north of Los Angeles. Mom is out at the west end of our 80 acres. She sees a guy walking down through the sagebrush alongside the creek. He is not walking around the sagebrush. He is walking through them. Not looking down at all. Mom is following him and about to tell him not to do that. When she sees he is about to step on a coiled-up western diamondback rattlesnake, she yells, "Freeze! Don't move a muscle! I have a scoped rifle pointed right at you." He froze. She said, "Don't move. I am going to fire." Bang! She shot the snake just before it could strike him. He had seen it a second before she fired. He thanked her. Said she scared the hell out of him. He was a LA County Deputy Sheriff just hiking down from the Mount Pinos parking lot to the Ventura County Sheriff's Station about 2 miles away. He said he would not just not walk over sagebrush without looking but was going to give up hiking altogether. Mom and my little sister were in out Ford Ranchero getting some snacks from Burrito King. A crazy homeless-looking guy jumped in the back of the Ranchero and started pounding on the roof and yelling, "Ride, ride, ride." Mom started it. Threw it in reverse. Goosed the gas, moved about 2 feet. Threw it in drive and goosed it and went 2 feet forward. After a few of these, he jumped out and yelled as he ran, "Lady, you're crazy." Story 5. You won a 5,150 me enjoy pink eye. I kicked her out as soon as I could. She called 911 saying I was suicidal after I threatened to call 911 on her for punching me. Anyway, today I told her to drop off my keys and pick up her shit. She hates onion and ginger, so I got onion and ginger powder and poured it all over her makeup, then got all her brushes and ran them through my cat's litter box, making sure I smear a good amount of cat poop in there. Finally threw it in her bin of crap, which included all her yearbooks. Then, I proceeded to pour her aloe gel all over it until it was empty. I do feel slightly ashamed, but, oh well, no point in apologizing now. Story 6. Refuse to be quiet. Okay, let's make some noise. Hi Reddit. Myself and 2 friends moved into a brand new apartment together 2 years ago and we were thrilled. It all went fairly well, no complaints. The neighbors were noisy for the first month or so, drilling and stuff, and we didn't think too much about it. We had all just moved in, after all, and stuff needs to be done. Our upstairs neighbor, however, quickly became an issue. When the honeymoon period had settled down, we noticed we could still hear her a lot. Now, these apartments are brand new, so we can't even hear that much. I never hear music. I rarely hear neighbors fighting or screaming or kids crying. I can't even hear the washer/dryer down the hall. This is just to give you an example of how fucking noisy this woman is. The noise? Well, it was her stomping around every goddamn day. We would literally be woken up by her getting out of bed every day at 6 o'clock. To try and emphasize how loud she was, it sounded like she was standing up on her bed and jumping onto the floor every morning. With boots on. I wouldn't even say she was walking around her apartment, it sounded more like she was preparing to march on Poland. Every damn day. All of her weight on her feet and wearing shoes on a wooden floor. And she was just an average-sized woman, so this takes effort. She lived on the 5th floor, and if you took the stairs, you could hear her stomping echo through the stairwell from the 2-6th floor. No exaggeration. Okay, fine, maybe she just doesn't realize? I go and try to talk to her. She, of course, never opens the door. We can hear you. We discover that she's a single mom and give her a bit of sympathy. On top of her stomping, we could also hear someone/something running around. Again, this starts at 06 in the morning and we might get a break between 10 to 14 and then it would start again until 02 in the morning. Every day. It sounded like someone was playing Dance Revolution for hours, just jumping on the same spot. On the rare occasion we got a break and she was quiet, she would start drilling or move her furniture around for hours. I kid you not, this woman found an excuse every weekend for a year. We started taking notes of the noise and time, to drill for hours on end and usually after the sound curfew in our building. If she didn't drill, time to rearrange all the furniture in the house, apparently. I genuinely thought she had a toddler or two because something was running around all day. But then I thought, toddlers couldn't possibly make that much noise? They don't weigh that much. No, she had 2 kids between the ages of 9 to 12 who not only stomped around all day too, they throw trash in the hallway, elevator, stairwell, scream, throw tantrums, throw stuff around the apartment. Yeah, those kids were monsters, and she was clearly not a good mom. After a year of this, we had enough. I went and tried to talk to her. No reply. Then she started drilling, yes, soon after I knocked on her door, and we all just screamed stop. Because it was 21:00. I also didn't want to go up to her being angry, because naturally this is infuriating and disrespectful, so I decided to write her a note. Hey! I just want to let you know that we can hear you quite a lot and we'd really appreciate being able to relax and have some peace and quiet. I hope you have a great Christmas. Problem solved, right? No, sweet child, of course not. She shoved the letter back into our post box and proceeded to stomp around even more. She then wrote a note of her own the following day and put it in the elevator. To whoever anonymously, it wasn't Anonymouse, wrote me a letter complaining about the screaming kids. I never once mentioned her kids, how dare you? It is not us making any noise. If you were an adult, you would come and speak to us in person. Pull yourself together. Very polite translation. She also followed this up by spreading rumors about us throughout the building so now all the other neighbors avoid us. Naturally, I was fucking pissed. Like, oh my fucking god woman, take responsibility for your own shitty actions. Calling us childish when you shove a letter back into the post box and then make up random stories? Instead of, just not making noise all day? Taking off your shoes in your own apartment? Not playing Dance Revolution until 02? Or whatever she did, ha ha ha. Honestly, we started to wonder if she had a dog, which isn't allowed, because, who runs around an apartment that much? We tried to complain about her through the official channels and were completely ignored. Other neighbors refused to cooperate because she'd soured their opinion of us so much. Us trying to solve the issue amicably went on for several months to no avail. Okay, now, so here's the petty part. Due to being woken up every day at 06, my body got used to it and I ended up getting up a bit earlier, around 05. I took that opportunity to go to the gym in the mornings. I was really pissed and I wanted her to face some kind of consequences or just get a taste of her own medicine. I lived under her, so I couldn't do much, except, the intercom system. To get into our building, you have to call up to the apartment you want from one of the two entrances. So, every couple of mornings on my way out of the building, I called up to her apartment at 5:30 or so, and then just walked off. Not every day, I'm not a monster. But I made sure to ruin her weekends. And, oh boy, is the screeching of the intercom not quiet. It is the most annoying, shocking sound. My roommates said after I left they could hear her get up and yell madly at the intercom. She moved out 3 months later and, again just to show how much damage she was doing, it took the housing company 6 months to fix up her, otherwise brand new, apartment to be fit for rental again. I pity her new neighbors. Edits, formatting. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.